There we go. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all doing well. I'm doing pretty well myself. I'm doing actually pretty well. And you asking about that the Discord rules there, social, kind of brings up, kind of segues me into a point that I wanted to bring up about today. There's something that's really been bothering me. Is that I had a friend. Let me turn down this music. It's a little distracting. As we know, I'm not sure how it is so much around the world, but in America we have a lot of stuff going on as far as like politics and things of that nature, and people being sensitive and equality and all that kind of stuff. A lot of political stuff. It's stuff that I don't like to touch on a whole lot. I'll vent about it to my wife, but I don't like to take it public, and I don't really like to talk to people a whole lot about it. But a few days ago, someone in my one of my Discord friends had their status set up, and it said "kill all men." It said "kill all men," and in parentheses after that it said, "well, the trash ones." And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a man. As you could tell, I'm very much a man. I'm very much a male. So that kind of stuff, I don't want to say it offends me because it's a choice to be offended, and I didn't want to like hoot and holler about it or anything, but stuff like that really upsets me. The fact that, especially one of my good friends, we've been friends for a few years now, and the fact that she would so openly say that, it's hurtful, honestly. And I come from an age where men were supposed to be tough. You man up and stuff like that. So my whole life I was pretty much trained to not say stuff like that. But when I see stuff like that, especially when it comes from people like my friends and family, it hurts my feelings. Like, I get that some man did you wrong, but that was some man. That's not all men, and not all men deserve to be killed for that. In fact, the dude who did you wrong probably doesn't even deserve to be killed. But I get it. I get it. You get upset, and you want to hurt people. My mind goes there too. But like, to just openly say, um, yeah, I purposely didn't want to call anyone out. I don't want to say any names, so like, so it's better just to leave it like that. Like I said, she is a good friend of mine, but just the fact that someone who does consider herself a friend of mine would say something like that about me, and like I said, obviously I'm a man, so I fit in that demographic. And I even brought it up to her. I brought it up to her in private. I'm like, look, I normally wouldn't say anything like this. We all have our opinions. Some of them are radical. I was like, but usually I can hide them. I can ignore it. I could be like, whatever. But this was like, on my Discord server. I'm really active on my Discord. So every time I opened it up, I would see that. I would see "kill all men," and like even the parentheses part where it says "the trash ones" at the end was covered up because it was too long. So all I was seeing was "kill all men." And even if I did see that, that's not. I mean, who are you? Who are you to say who a trash man is? Like, I get it. There's some shitty men out there. There's also some shitty women. I mean, there's shitty people, but for the most part, people are good. And to lump people together like that, to lump an entire group, I mean, spread that kind of hate, it's wrong. Like, could you imagine if I went around saying, kill all women, or kill all gay people, or kill all any minority group, any group, anybody? Like, that wouldn't go over well at all. And it just, like I said, it hurts. You guys, we really need to think about what we're saying and how we're saying it. I get that people are mad, people are upset, but you just got to know that when you lump everyone into a group like that, the ones that you're hurting are the ones that are closest to you. So that goes for my sister as well. I grew up. She was one of the biggest feminazis that I've known, that I've ever met. I've heard it my entire life. All grow since I can remember. She'd come home in a bad mood and say, "Hey, uh, you know, she would come home and say like, you men, the world would be better off without you men. Men are stupid, men are simple, they don't need to be here." And here I am, 8-year-old me, trying to play with GI Joes, looking at her like, well, what did I do? What the fuck did I do? And I've gotten it all my life. I've gotten women come up to me, in the streets. When I was in high school, girls would just straight up come up to me and say, "Hey, the world would be better off without men. All men should die." And I'm like, that's fucked up. That's wrong. And like, I don't say anything to them. I'm like, cool, whatever, you have your opinions. But when it comes to like my friends and my family saying stuff like that, they just don't realize. I don't think they realize, how hurtful it is. and it's hurtful to the ones that are close to them. So that's I don't know. I just wanted to get that off my chest. You know, I think I think this may be a thing, a little early morning Marrader rant before I actually get started. Social Nerd says let me see, just for that reason, I start my custom stat with "Hey you" so that you don't directly see the "Go watch stream" part. Only if you click on me, you can see that part. I got you. I hear that, man. You know, I appreciate it. You know, it's I'm sure there's always there's little ways around all this stuff. But so yeah, that's been on my mind the last couple of days. You know, I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest. I actually feel a lot better. Um, just take that with you. You know, and whenever you guys say all of anybody of this demographic, of any kind of demographic, whether it be men, women, anything, any kind of sexual orientation, any kind of race, anything like that. When you lump people together like that, you're hurting the wrong people. You're not hurting the ones you're going for. Just remember that. All right. Social Nerd says, just a pure scientific question. How would humanity survive with only women? That's not how life works. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's what I've said. You know, I actually I brought that up to some chick in high school. One of the chicks that came up to me that was straight up like, you know, we don't need men. And I was like, well, you need us to reproduce. And she was like, well, we'd figure it out. In nature, they evolved to asexually reproduce. And I'm like, whatever, you're going. I mean, yeah, it's beyond the science of it. You know, there's so many things wrong with it on so many levels. And I'm just, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm like, you know, you people, you need to realize, what you're doing, who you're saying it to, and who you're hurting. You know.